Hey y'all, and welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and I'm joined by Jonathan.
Hey, yo.
And Squeaks.
Squeaks.
Squeaks, how you been, man?
Doing wonderful. How has everyone been here?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Sound super enthusiastic about those answers.
We are recording a little bit early. I'm not going to lie. My energy doesn't kick in until about, like 2 more hours.
Did you get your coffee?
I have been chugging coffee since 4, trying to make sure I'm good to go. Yeah. Jonathan, what have you been playing? What have you been watching?
So, as you guys probably know, I'm playing some Minecraft.
Mhm.
I finished the Assassin's Creed Origins. And so between most games, I usually go back to a little Minecraft, just kind of a wind down to check out what's new and all that stuff, which is great. And what I've been watching, I just watched a good movie. Of course, always watching Star Trek and stuff like that. I just watched a movie that, believe it or not, our dad texts me. He gets super excited when he sees something he likes. He texts me like, "Hey, if you need to watch something new on Netflix, there's this movie called I Care a Lot."
Oh yeah,
and it's got Peter
Dinklage.
Dinklage with a D.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is a pretty good movie. The ending was a little disappointing to me, but overall, it was a really good movie. So if you're bored and you got Netflix, check that out. I Care a Lot. It's pretty
good
intense.
casting on that. Definitely good casting on that. By the way, Jonathan, can you turn around, look at your fancy calendar there, and tell us when the next Satisfactory update's coming out?
Oh yeah, so you see right here on our what was this, a 1999? Yeah, our 1999 Star Trek Voyager calendar, which syncs up with this year's dates. Just so y'all know, March 16th, we should have the Satisfactory update.
So guess what we're streaming on March 16th, folks. We're waiting for that.
They were saying the 9th or 16th, but it's obviously been pushed back to their latest date. So yeah, check it out then.
We've been like trying to find a way to have dedicated servers or something like that. Try to find a way to work all play together, because generally, I mean, even on the best computers in our group, once you get to the point of where you're like on coal energy and stuff like that, it gets to where the other people have no frames per second. So our best bet is everybody just plays on their own servers, and we'll be just streaming together, hanging out in Discord and chatting the whole time, and that's how we'll handle that. But we're waiting, guys. We're playing Minecraft, and I'm playing Spider-Man for a level up we have coming up and stuff like that until then. And I'll be streaming Spider-Man actually the night of this recording, so you can hear that or watch that. Squeaks, what have you been playing? What have you been watching?
All right, so playing, unfortunately, not too much this last 2 weeks. I've been pretty busy. Trying to get back into my Mortal Kombat Death Stranding mode, trying to beat these games and then hop on WoW here and there. Trying to, but watching quite a bit. So every Friday is my main day. Of course, WandaVision.
Oh yeah.
We watched.
I'm so sad that's over now.
I know, and then we were just the wife was like, "Oh yeah, maybe season 2." I was like, "I don't see a season 2 for WandaVision." No. Apple TV has Servant, a show called Servant on every Friday. We watch that, and then Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen's good. Hell's Kitchen's actually legit.
It's like the only like really like reality TV show I like. So
yeah, I liked it. I like it. I like this year's cast is good too. This year's contestants. Yeah. Apple TV. Surprisingly good shows on that. Of course, we have Ted Lasso, which won like Show of the Year 14 times, whatever, and got a Golden Globe and everything like that. But right now, there's For All Mankind on Apple TV. It's very good too. That is, what if the Russians got to the moon before us, before the United States? And so then there's like it shows how much more aggressive the United States would have been with trying to get there and how reckless we were, and it's just a really cool back and forth, like a look at Cold War era moon race from a different vision and the way it could have gone, and how happy we are that luckily nothing escalated between our two nations and stuff, and how we could be friends and things get better if we are. It's really cool. It's a really good show, and it's funny because I saw an interview with a guy, the main guy, he's the new RoboCop, and I can't remember anything else he does, but he's on he's on Suicide Squad too. Anyways, I'll check this out. So I started playing the show, and then I'm like, oh, this is a really cool show and stuff. And I realized I was watching like season 2, and so then I went back and watched season 1 first, and then I'm gonna continue watching season 2. Really great show though, guys. Check that out.
Okay, yeah, I'll check it out. Apple's been really impressing me with their exclusives. So I did want to check that out because I saw the kind of the visuals on it. It looked really clean. So if I'm like putting it on my 4K TV and stuff, hopefully it has some nice scenery.
You have HDR on the TV?
I do.
It exercises the hell out of that HDR. It's nice. Really? It really pops. Really, like the moon, it just really pops it. It's nice. So,
all right.
Yeah, check that out.
Check it out.
And then playing Minecraft and Spider-Man, and then a little bit of WoW here and there, but kind of taking a break on WoW. But we do have the new patch for WoW coming up like next week. So,
Already.
I know it's gonna be tough. Okay, so we have all that going on. Right, guys, we have an announcement. We're bringing back our Patreon. There's a few reasons we discontinued it before. First off, we were going to bring on new advertisers, and secondly, it was a lot of work to run a Patreon. So a couple things have changed. We have a lot of really cool ideas that we want to have a place to put them. Patreon's the best spot for that. There's a lot of times where we have a new show coming up. Jonathan has a new show coming up in a few months probably, and we want a place to kind of publish that, kind of get some feelers for it. Patreon's a great spot for that. I have a show coming out next week that will be Patreon exclusive called Sloop. All that's going to be there. So it's a good place for us to kind of test around. And then also advertisement wise, like if we could advertise Audible, and we will continue to do Audible and stuff like that, and a couple of them. But the thing is that doesn't like increase engagement. Like if we were to have you guys do things with us, we're having a lot more fun. And that's really what podcasting is about. It's having fun with the people who listen. And Patreon's the place to do that. So at the end, we'll break down all the tiers and basically you guys are going to become executive producers. Everybody who joins Patreon, like I'll just give you this part. We read your name off at the end as you would with producers and credits in any movie. So, we appreciate it. Now, so we'll break all that down at the end and we'll get into all that fun stuff. But for now, let's talk about what I can't stop thinking about, WandaVision. Squeaks, let's start with you. What was your overall reaction? We're going to go season-wide. Oh, spoiler alert. But this is coming out on a Tuesday. Y'all should have watched it 4 times by now.
Yeah.
Squeaks, what is your reaction to the entire season and that final episode?
I think the entire season was beautiful. I love that they went to a whole different level on creating a Marvel show. I don't think we'll ever get anything like this in the future. Yeah. Because if you kind of look at what Winter Soldier and Falcon's coming out, it's just going to be an action series, which is fine. And I love that they're going to do different feels for each show. Awesome. But the uniqueness of this show is phenomenal to me, and it's so beautifully done. From the first 2 episodes when they dropped, and it was that whole black and white, and then we go to the kind of like the 70s, and then we go to like Leave It to Beaver, and it shows it's something like that, and then the part where they kind of like went back in time to show why these shows were picked in this dimension that she created. I loved it. The thinking behind it was phenomenal. For the last episode, it's a Marvel episode for sure. We finished the whole story. We get it. Now we're times where it does feel like a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was good. Actually, the whole series is great. The last episode, I don't hate it, but I want to, like, here's love and here's like me right there, like,
Yeah, I want to throw a lot of that up to the fact that WandaVision leaned itself into mystery. It had a lot of mystery box moments and stuff like that, and so. And Paul Bettany even admitted that he kind of messed up in the fact, and all the directors and stuff said, like, because he came out and said there's going to be a cool cameo coming up, and I have always wanted to work with this actor. Those are the 2 things he said about the season before the season started. So of course the rest of us are like Benedict Cumberbatch or it was Robert Downey Jr. or something like that. It was himself. He was excited to play against himself in a scene, and he did a really good job with that scene. But for the rest of us that were like, this isn't Doctor Strange, we were wanting Doctor Strange. And of course, so there's the actor he always wanted to play with, and the cameo was White Vision or Spectral Vision. So that was disappointing, and I think it kind of that hampered a lot of the excitement for that final episode. But the final episode was really good, and I think it set up Phase 4 quite nicely. Phase 4? No, what are we on? Phase 4 still, right? Yeah.
Is it 4?
2020 has thrown some shit out the window. I have no clue what phase we're on. But yeah, so we have Wanda, of course, is now the most powerful Marvel or Avenger we have, and we have confirmation that she's more powerful than Doctor Strange, which is pretty impressive. And she's pulling some tricks out, and then we have New Vision that's going to be out there, and we know that her kids are coming back because they were at the end in the post-credit scene, and all kinds of cool stuff that's really exciting. So I'm really excited for Phase 4. The entire series as a whole was like a slow burn 3-act structure. It was really well done in that sense. I think it had something for everybody, and there was something to dislike for everybody too. I know there's a lot of people who did not like the first 2 episodes, and myself, I was fully delighted by those. And And so, yeah, I just think in general, really good show. I would probably give this show as general. I don't necessarily want to give it a grade, but if I were, I would give it a good B plus. And I think it probably slipped from the A minus in the final episode. And a lot of that is my fault, going in with hype and expectations and something that was not going to be there. It was still just really good.
Yeah. Did John end up watching? John, you end up watching the last episode? Okay.
What do you think of the show,
Sorry,
John?
I'm getting a little bit of lag here. Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was really good. I love how it's this in between. I don't know how to say it, but these mini series, they've done a good job of making where it's not a movie, but it's not like a traditional TV show either. It has a clear goal, a very explicit story it needs to explain, and it's not like your regular run of the mill TV series where every episode is just kind of a small arc and it gets from point A to point B. So I like it. It's real intense, and there's a lot of, like you're saying, mystery, and everybody really wants to see the next episode. And there's, like you're saying, it kind of was a detriment a little bit to them. But there was tons of people. I mean, you can look on YouTube, people are throwing up tons of different fan theories, and everyone's, talking around the water cooler, so to speak, about what's going to happen in the next episode and what does all this stuff mean. So that kind of hype is great. Like, we love to have hot gossip we want to go talk about, or a new show that we're really excited to talk about. So I think that's great for the fanfare and everything. Though, the downside of it, like we talked about before with Game of Thrones, is at the end, there is an ending. They had to select one of the thousands of, options that the fans suggested or all the writers could come up with. And out of the 1,000 different options, a lot of people are going to be disappointed because they have to choose one. There's only one ending. I mean, you could maybe write a few different endings and see how they play out, but so I think that is inevitably going to be disappointing to some people.
Right.
But
same Game of Thrones problem. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's nature of the beast. You have to choose one and stick with it. And they have very amazing writers. So I think, though it was mildly disappointing, I think it was still a very good ending for the series.
I agree. I really especially like the part where she's putting the runes on the side of the hex. That was really cool. Yeah. I was like, oh shit, she's learning. And then of course,
what did they give from the end credits? Really, like, so you said the kids were there. Where were the kids at?
They were yelling for her help while she was reading. So the final post credit,
got it.
And so we know that she's gonna go get them. And it's cool that she learned that astral projection thing that Doctor Strange uses. So that's what Doctor Strange used in the movie to study, and she's doing the same thing. While she looks like she's minding her own business, she's actually becoming, and she's got the Darkhold, which is crazy. That book that has like predictions and the knowledge of all dark magic, like that book right there means so much. The fact that that's in the MCU now, that'd be pretty amazing. Well, there's no way Doctor Strange is gonna let that book just sit out there, so he's gonna try his hardest to get that book. There's no doubt. That's probably what's gonna happen right there. She's probably going to reach out to Doctor Strange for help on how to get her kids, because she has so much raw power, but he has so much knowledge, and the two of them together is what's really gonna be amazing. Do
you think they'll partner up right away, or is he gonna try to, Dark Phoenix, like, tame her, and she's gonna fight back, resist, and try to take control?
That would be cooler, I think, in my opinion.
I could picture, like, if something crazy happens with the kids, that she wants to unleash this like insane raw energy, and Doctor Strange is gonna try to slow her down a little bit and get some common sense into her before she maybe creates a bigger issue. I can see that.
Yeah, I think he might object to her using that black magic, that dark book or whatever, from the get-go, and say, hey, you're playing with stuff that you can't control, and you're using chaos magic. You need to take 10 steps back, go to beginner level training, and I'll teach you how to control your powers like you're a young Padawan. Instead, she's gonna be like, oh hell no, I'm super strong, F you, and do a whole new wave of power to change the world, kind of thing.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and drop some grades on this. I gave it a B+. What would you guys give it? Jonathan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'd probably go. I would like you're saying, I was probably gonna go with the A-, but the ending does kind of take it down a small step.
Small step, yeah.
So yeah, I'd probably say a B+ too.
What do you think it Squeaks?
I think actually A-. I'm gonna go A-.
Okay.
I didn't have an issue with the ending, to be honest. I think there was just some characters I didn't care for that were in there. Yeah, I'm good with the A-.
Yeah.
I do like the whole White Vision stuff in the last episode, and they show Monica Balboa's power again, which is pretty cool. Like, I want them to elaborate on her more.
Did you call her Balboa?
Cool. Yeah.
I did. What's that? How do you say her last name?
Monica Rambo.
Rambo. Oh, you're right.
Well, I just felt like Balboa. Wait a minute, is that Rocky's last name? Wait, Rambo. Isn't that also one of the Sylvester Stallone character? Did you make a crazy leap somehow from one to another?
He is in the MCU. You guys didn't know that.
He is in the MCU, actually. Well, not Rocky, but Sylvester Stallone. He is in Guardians of the Galaxy.
True.
Oh man,
See, I was talking
John's already ready for the multi-universe.
Yeah. I'm stoked.
Oh gosh. Oh man. John, I was telling Frank though, I'm not a big Monica fan. I don't know. I think the way she got her powers was kind of like gimmicky to me.
Yeah.
So
I think it was.
I'm doing this category. She's a CW character. That's what I'm going with. Oh god,
don't do that. No, that's DC. That's DC.
She could stay in the series. I don't give a shit about seeing her on the big screen. And the White Vision, I'm a little nervous of like, okay, is this the way to just we have Vision alive in the MCU? Like, come on, dude. Like, we gotta have some loss.
That is from the comic books.
They could have just said she created her Vision out of nothing. They could have just said, "Hey, he's real. He's tangible. She made him." So
White Vision is from the comic books. They are sticking to the comic books on that, though.
I just, I mean, that's fine. I mean, fine. You can stick with the comic books at the same time. I just don't want him to take over Vision because then it feels like we never really lost Vision. I'm the type of guy that like when we lose characters, it just means more to how we feel about the series and whatnot.
Yeah.
And if you just bring him back, it's kind of like, whatever.
The Loki conundrum. Like, as much as I love Loki, he died 3 times down the MCU, and we have him back in the series, so he'll never be totally appreciated anymore.
Yeah,
he'll be loved. Sure, he's a great character, but if he dies again, I'll never think he's dead. It'd be like, okay, yeah, sure thing. I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
You're just Loki. By the way, I want to make sure to give a quick shout out to my sweater. This is actually the sweater that Scarlet Witch was wearing the entire final episode, so I'm just throwing that out there. I just
nice.
When I'm watching the series, of course, I should be paying attention to the story. I'm like, I've got that sweater. I recognize it. She goes to Walmart too. All right, back on track.
That's funny.
But yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some of the news. Then we'll go into our 200th episode. We haven't mentioned that before, by the way. This is our 200th episode. So some of the news here. Florida's Super Nintendo World is being delayed until 2025. So we have it opened up in Japan now, and it's so far it's been amazing reviews, and everybody's really excited for that. Squeaks, you're like more the theme park guy than the rest of us. Are you headed to this thing when it opens up in 2025?
Yes. So I'm super excited because when you used to look at the screenshots and the videos of Nintendo Land in Japan, it's like, holy shit. I can't believe how everything looks like I'm in a video game.
Yeah,
like everything, and it's like I want to, like, give me a Yoshi. I just want to walk. I want to jump on a Yoshi and just walk around and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. Unfortunately, yes, it is delayed, and I mean everything's a little delayed. So that's just the life we live right now. But most definitely, I want to check this right. I've been looking at the ride, so I know for sure confirmed is the Mario Kart ride will be making its way to the Florida as well. And that's going to be a on track. You're sitting in a car. It's like on track, but you're also wearing like these 3D goggles, which I'm not really a big fan
reality. Of. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's supposed to, like, you're moving around, but really everything is just within these glasses you're wearing.
Well, what's happening through the glasses, from my understanding, is like the power ups and stuff is what you're seeing, not necessarily the track itself.
So from what I read, was basically the whole ride was in the goggles.
That's upsetting. I thought okay, so I saw something different. Okay. Yeah,
I'll double check that too, but from when I last read, that's what it was.
Well, I mean, yeah, and it makes more sense to be what you're doing because that's what they did in a lot of the Universal rides. Like when you go down there now, they're starting to switch over to all these virtual coasters, which are okay, but not not the same. Yeah,
and I mean, my ass will be there before 2025 anyway because of the new stuff that they are already put out with the new Jurassic Park ride and the new Harry Potter ride. So I will definitely be taking a trip soon.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if they decide they need to change that concept because they probably don't want people passing around the same headsets after 2020.
Yeah. 2025. Hopefully, we're well past. I know we're probably on the verge of the next one. Oh God, on that one. But
looking towards the future, hopefully we maintain health practices that prevent that in the future.
It wouldn't be too bad. That's a good idea. We'll have to see what they do. Yeah, there's got to be a way to like clean them in between each. We're so precautious now. And back in the day, we're just like, who cares, dude?
Yeah. If you look at the 3D goggles we put on for all these rides, all of them are sanitized after they're used, and we throw them in a bucket, and then they pick up the bucket, spray them down, and then they put them back on the rack.
Oh, okay.
Like Star Tours, you know.
Oh, so
I'm sure it might be something like
VR?
That. Well, I don't know, actually. I thought from my readings it was like a VR thing, but I mean, like you said, with the whole, you know, new ways to do things, it could maybe have a process like that.
Let's see.
Yeah. Put screens on all sides, like the what do you call it, where they're filming now with all screens around the studio.
Stagecraft.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have that with their King Kong experience. I mean, you're in a 360 screen, so
nice.
That'd be dope.
Nice.
That'd be really
cool. They did that, really.
Yeah. All right, next thing here, we have Switch Pros coming 2021, according to Bloomberg. Bloomberg, by the way, stepping up their video game reporting, which is really good. They grabbed Jason Schreier, and they're picking up a lot more video game reporters. So they're actually a source for gaming news. Pretty interesting. This new Switch will have a 4K output and a 7-inch 720p OLED screen. Now, I love my Switch, and I don't really see a reason for it to go Pro because the games on it are not really necessarily going to be bettered by better graphics. It's just not how Nintendo rolls. Squeaks, do you see a reason for you to go Pro?
No, if anything, it just makes me more upset that they should have had these upgrades on the original Switch.
Agreed.
To be honest, like a 4K you don't have 4K output, but you know, the whole world does around you.
Right.
Like,
right.
come on. So, not really. No, because like what you said with the Nintendo's graphics, like Smash Brothers, like that thing looks phenomenal already. Those kind of games they already make, like with the Mario and Legend of Zelda. So I'll have to do a side by side. You know how they do those side by side comparisons with the line in the middle. Yeah, I would have to see that before I make any changes. But as of right now, no, not too much. Not switching over.
Is there anything you guys can do with the Switch? I don't have a Switch, but is there anything you do with it other than play games?
Unfortunately, no, because they don't even have like Netflix or anything on it.
Yeah, there's a YouTube app that doesn't work too well.
If they're putting their hardware, you know, they're stepping their hardware up, maybe they're going to be launching something like that soon. Like, you know, it comes with Disney Plus or something like that, where you can stream videos or YouTube or something like that through your Switch now.
I can see that.
Because like you're saying, their games don't necessarily require the higher resolution.
Yeah. There's got to be something out there too. Maybe they're coming out with more high def games because currently the library doesn't necessarily need it. But I could see the new Legend of Zelda, the new Pokemon game looks like it could use the better definition. Not the remakes, but the actual new game. Looks like it's a better version of basically Zelda. We'll have to see. Yeah, it's just kind of one of those systems where it's like Mario Golf looks good. Don't need to mess with that. You know, just come out with more Mario Golf. Stuff like that. So
I think if anything, it'll help the third parties really when you're playing like Skyrim and stuff like that. That's who the people you're going to see actually the difference in.
Because if you look at games like Witcher 3 and Outer Worlds that both ported over to the Switch, they had to downscale so much that they're literally missing trees. Like you'll be walking down I've done this. I've seen the side by sides, and there's just less trees next to the road because it's like it's just too much to load on the Switch. And you're right, though, Squeaks, to the fact. I mean, the Switch is cheaper, which is always nice, but why was this not addressed so long ago? Why are you guys always a step behind? Like you guys will invent something cool and neat and gimmicky that I'm like, okay, I'm interested in, but why the hell is your processor just not somewhat faster? I mean, it's a shame that has to be. It's a shame that the Switch will always have to be the other system you own and not the main system you own. It just will always be because they're not putting the money behind. I don't know. It's frustrating. I want to believe in you, Nintendo. You're Nintendo, but it's like, come on now. I have to have a PS5 because of you guys. And it's too bad. Next up, we have San Diego Comic-Con. They decided to go all digital this year for July. That's when the normal San Diego Comic-Con comes out. But they are planning a second in-person event for November. Fingers crossed. So San Diego Comic-Con, let's talk about the digital version first. I'm thinking we should do a midday stream, immediate reaction, and then a full reaction like we did at BlizzCon. You guys up for that?
Yeah, as long as the days work out.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
What do you want to see from Comic-Con? What do you want to see, like MCU show off or something like that, or DC show off? What do you guys want to see? Jonathan, let's start with you.
So these shows are cool and stuff like that, but I want to see some hot new movies. It's gonna be July, it's summer. They should have already been teasing movies. Maybe start talking about the next year's movies, but and not just remaking the same characters we know, but I know I've said it before. I'd like to see some completely original. I mean, maybe not even drawn from comics, just something new that we haven't heard of, and really put some money behind. Of course, it needs to be vetted and tested with smaller audiences, but I want to see some cool new comic book movies.
Yeah. For me, I have to see a trailer for Eternals. I'm so tired of waiting for the Eternals trailer, and I would like to see a trailer for Shang-Chi, and more footage from Batman, the new Batman movie. So that's kind of the three big ones for me that I want to see some more footage from those. Squeaks, what about you, man? Oh, sorry.
I think for me, I would like an update of what Marvel has been doing with their TV shows. I think the big one for me will be Blade. I know with this whole everything going on in life and all these things were announced, it'd be nice to be like, hey, maybe we just started, maybe we're halfway there, kind of something to say, hey, there is progress with these shows. On the DC side, I want to see an outline, kind of like what Marvel has done for us. I need to know what the future of DC is, because right now it is pissing me off that we have to reboot everything.
Yeah.
Don't even get me to this fucking reboot on Superman.
It's so good. Oh my God, it's so good. The new Superman is so freaking good.
Why are we rebooting Superman with already the same character?
You talking about the CW one, or are you talking about the movie reboot?
Oh, no, I'm talking about the movie.
Oh, okay. The first off, the CW one's very good. Watch that. The movie one, okay, me and Squeaks talked about, or me and, what's his face? Daniel talked about this last week. It sounds like it's going to be Calvin Ellis. So it's not even Clark Kent. It's just a different Superman. So that's...
I don't know why, when we just got this one. But anyway.
Because this one's been buried. That's the problem, is they done fucked up. And I think that DC's like, look, we can't have Ben Affleck back. We can't have, I think that's what it is. They messed up too bad. And it irritates me that they're giving Zack Snyder another chance, because I can't stand him. He's messed up too many times. But yeah, I think that's the idea, is that, like, look, his name is tarnished, basically,
But Henry Cavill, though, is playing Superman again. He's playing Superman again, right?
He's playing Superman during the Zack Snyder cut. That's it. And he's done.
But he's not going to do the reboot?
We don't know if he's going to do the reboot. We don't have any confirmation that he is. It sounds like the reboot is a new Superman with Calvin Ellis. Calvin Ellis is Superman instead
of actor. Okay.
Whole new, a whole new story.
New character.
And it's the same thing with Green Lantern. If they were to go with John instead of Hal, it's the same thing.
It just pisses me off for the fact that it's like, come on, let's get some stability here. Like, we just got the Superman. He only been in one movie and then the Justice League and Batman vs Superman, but like only title Superman movies one.
I fully agree.
Batman, we can't just keep that going. It's like, let's get on track. I want to see an outline. With the Snyder Cut, I'm actually excited for, because I've seen the trailer. It's a whole different movie. It's like, holy shit, what happened to just like deleted like some scenes that just didn't show up in the actual movie? But you're introducing Darkseid now, and it's like, holy shit, this motherfucker. One, do not jack it up by just having him dead at the end of Justice League. Like, this guy needs to be the Thanos for DC for right now.
It's so much worse than that. They're going to introduce him, and then he's going away, and we won't see him again. They're not doing the movie anymore. There's not going to be another Superman. There's not going to be another Justice League. So they're going to introduce Darkseid, and then he goes away. That's it.
So how hopefully come back
for what?
Next Justice League movie?
What? There is no next Justice League movie. There's nothing coming up. There's another. I'm sure there's going to be another Wonder Woman. We don't have any confirmation on that, though. The director's busy making a Star Wars, and there's probably going to be another Aquaman, but no confirmation 100% on that. There's a new Flash that nobody wants. There's no reason for Darkseid to come back.
You don't want the Flash? You don't want the Flash?
Not with this. Not with Ezra Miller. No.
Why?
Because Ezra Miller needs to be fired.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I'm done with Ezra Miller. But dude, they need to erase DC movies and start all over again, and it's frustrating as shit right now. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Calvin Ellis is a whole new era. Bring in the Milestone comics. Bring in a whole new. Get Deathstroke in here. Get rid of Lex Luthor. That Lex Luthor was awful. Nobody wants him. Just start again. Whole new thing. I'm down with that.
See, I'm hoping the Flash movie does kind of start that with whatever the Flashpoint and something like that will start it off for the whole timeline of DC. But I mean, like, going back to it, I want to see a timeline. I want to see something, because I read these comics almost every night lately. And it's just so frustrating that this can't be on the big screen. And I mean, whatever, with Robert Pattinson's Batman, make him join the new Superman, something like give me a Justice League 2 movie.
Okay, yeah.
You know, yeah, like whatever going forward. It's
make it Earth whatever, and make it a whole new make it a whole new Earth. I mean, it's DC. They have multiverse. They love to use it all the time, all the time. Yeah. So you know, comic book wise, just do it. Fine. There's a whole nother Earth. Yeah. I'm cool with that. John,
just get us on track with these fucking characters, man.
I agree.
And something you and Daniel talked about in your last episode, which was like really got me excited.
Look at Jonathan listening to old episodes. It's so cool.
Right? Well, it doesn't. Well, yeah. Well, this is just yours from last week too.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen very often that I just am like yelling at the microphone, wanting to chime in on what you guys are saying. But you guys were talking about DC and the Joker movie, which obviously I loved, and how they should just continue with villains. I think it was Daniel was like, why don't they just make more villain movies? And it would be so cool because I would love it if, I mean, Marvel's nailing it with the superheroes and they're doing good and everybody loves them. What if DC just took a totally different direction and like they're doing DC Black Label, do DC villain movies, but not villain movies from the traditional comic book villain? Yeah, that's what they've been cast as before, but from their perspective as if they are the hero.
Yeah.
So you see like Lex Luthor's rise to power as he's trying to protect his city from this uncontrollable force that nobody can tame, that is, you know, Superman, who levels buildings and kills thousands of people to save one girl that's falling, kind of thing. Like, that would be so awesome if they could put the money behind it that Marvel puts into their movies, and actually, you know, good writing and all that stuff too. But I think that would be an awesome way to go for DC to kind of redeem themselves.
Yeah.
A second thing too that I was thinking about, what you guys are talking about all this, DC has got a lot of shows going on, the Arrowverse and all that stuff. And I don't think they're targeting me or an older audience. Maybe some of the older comic book readers to some extent, but it's more, you know, young adult, teen kind of rated.
There's a lot of teen drama in it. I'll give you that. Yeah, there's definitely is.
You and I, all three of us, can remember our favorite shows when we were kids, right? I mean, I preach about gargoyles all the time, right?
Batman animated series, one of the best ever.
And to me, and like even Voyager, like those stamp deeper in your brain than any movie, any one standalone movie you watched, or even like a small series. So I'm thinking maybe DC is playing the long game in a very smart way, as they're building these characters through TV shows that all these teens are watching right now and falling in love with. Like even when you talk to Daniel about Smallville, he's so in love with it because he watched it for so long through his teen years. So maybe, you know, Marvel's got really hot movies that are selling right now, but I think DC 10 years from now might be in a really good place with all these series they built up into, you know, phenomenal characters that are going to stay with their audience.
Well, and the second what you're saying there, Jonathan, DC might be showing their hand already with that. So they have two series in the works. No, they have multiple than that. But anyways, one of them is the Gotham series that's coming up. It's Gotham PD, and it's going to be a gritty cop drama set in Gotham. So it's like the Gotham TV show that we watched, but it's done on HBO. So it's going to be more like The Wire, you know.
So they're having another Gotham series?
Yeah, it's they haven't given it a name, but basically, and it's gonna be more based off of the Gotham PD comic book that came out a few years back. That's gonna be, again, a little bit more grittier and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then, I wonder if they're gonna have any crossover cast though. Are we gonna have like the same, what's his name, Gordon? Yeah.
No, it sounds like it's gonna be much more darker. And I think I don't see why they wouldn't bother just doing it. They can get Jeffrey Wright, who is the going to be the Gordon in the movie coming up, the Robert Pattinson movie. He's already been on HBO through Westworld, so he could be Commissioner Gordon in the new series. I can't wait. Actually, I hope that's the case. I'm getting hyped up just thinking about that.
That'd be dope.
But yeah, we also have Peacemaker show coming up, and we just talked about another one, and I can't remember what it was. But we have DC shows coming to DC. Constantine series is coming to HBO Max. So we might be getting the higher quality, bigger budget. And that's how they beat Marvel, is by going dark. DC's got some of the best dark shows out there, best dark heroes out there. Lean in on it and go, give us, that way we get the best. Because every time you watch, like if you watch how superhero movies are made, you have like the dark ones in early 90s with the Batman movies. And then they become lighter and campy. And then they switch back to darker with, Batman's a great example of it all. So I'm just using him. But then they switch back to dark. Then they go lighter again. And then they go, they go back and forth. But if you have, in general, MCU going bright and beautiful. That's fine. We got those and I love them. And then you have DC going dark and telling the dark stories, gritty stories. We have everything we want. Just get together, guys, come to an agreement and make that happen. And then, hey, if we're really lucky, we could get some Amalgam Universe stuff. That it's a far reach, but man, if I can get see Dark Claw on screen, which is the hybrid of Batman and Wolverine, I am in 100%. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. That'd be cool.
Well, I mean, something's going to be happening in the future anyway, because I mean, we talked about Jim Lee taking over, right? So
yeah,
there has to be some. Hopefully, there's something announced with the San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We're talking about Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And Frank, you mentioned in the last episode too that I think it was Batman and Superman's licensing might expire in the next 5-10 years, something like that, right?
I'll have to see when vamp for a bit. I'll tell you when they were both created, and I'll tell you when it's going to expire. So give me just a moment.
So Squeaks, if Batman's licensing is expired and everybody and their mother has full access to make anything Batman, what would be the first thing you want to see? Maybe indie, but with somebody making their own Batman.
Let's see. I don't know. Are you asking me like who would I want to make it, or who would I want to just see in a series?
Like if there was a unique new Batman series made, doesn't have to follow any of the past stuff.
Okay.
Just, some kid in the basement got full access to make it. What would you want to see?
I want to see the Jason Todd series. I want to see like Joker just wail the fuck out of him, and then like obviously really dark, and then
Death of the Family storyline.
That whole like mental dilemma with Jason Todd, and then Batman feeling like he couldn't have saved him, and then Joker just being this crazy dude with a crowbar just smashing. That's how kind of I want to see. Yeah,
that's such a good storyline. And then add in, you could do the Barber one too, where the Killing Joke storyline. Do both of them because then you have two people dealing with the mental anguish of Joker's insanity. Really, that would be so good because both those storylines are dark and beautiful, and they're some of the best storylines that Batman has to offer. But instead, we have to have a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze. That's not good at all. By the way. In 9 years for Superman and 10 years for Batman, they are fully free to be used by anybody.
Man.
So we're going to get...
Yeah, but you think they'll just renew that contract or anything?
No, it's copyright laws. After I think it's 100 years is what it is. After 100 years, they can't be copyrighted anymore.
Man.
So that's why like The Great Gatsby this year is available for everybody. And right away, so this is the year, by the way, so Great Gatsby came available for everybody to use this year. And now we have a new Great Gatsby movie on the way, a new Great Gatsby book on the way, and we have a prequel on the way for Great Gatsby because it's like, oh shit, we can use it for free now. That's why there's so many different Sherlock Holmes. And Sherlock Holmes is always my example because Sherlock is free to use. And
that's insane to me. So someone's work could just be out there for everyone, basically.
After 100 years. Yeah, that's the idea of copyright laws is like, otherwise, I mean, thank God for copyright laws and the ways we have the ability to get back. Because, for example, Thomas Edison wanted to make sure that he was the only one who could make movies. Could you imagine if only one person was allowed to make movies for the next 100 years? Yeah. Like, luckily there are some like things that can be adjusted. And then if Sherlock Holmes was only the same family that was making the same Sherlock Holmes books the entire time, no, we wouldn't have Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch. So
how does that work? They just kind of like contact DC to be like, hey, we want to do this.
No. After the 100 years, you don't contact nobody. You just start making your Batman movie. He's open to everybody. Yeah. And then we talk about this so many times. That's why I don't want to go too far into that. But basically you free it up to where any person who has a unique vision, I keep saying Quentin Tarantino, because a Quentin Tarantino Batman movie, holy shit, that'd be cool. That'd be just so neat.
That'd be messy.
It'd be messy.
Be a Judge Dredd Batman.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on this before we move on?
Oh, just real quick. With all that, we were just saying Marvel would be one of them that has full access to Batman and Superman. So they could totally make like a mix, a crossover.
That makes me nauseous a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want you guys touching them too much. But yeah, they would have full access to them. Yeah. And their characters soon after that even. So, yeah. By the way, so the in-person event is November. Depending on how things go, we might make a trip down to there. We'll have to see. That'd be interesting. Okay. Let's go ahead and go into our watch list for March, where we delay on this one due to events and 200 and episodes and stuff like that. We want to make sure it gets done. Jonathan, do you have it up, or you want me to go over it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you go over it.
Yeah, no problem. I didn't bring it up beforehand, so I messed up. Okay, so on Hulu, and this is a real short list. These are just my picks of things you guys should be watching this month. On Hulu, there's Boss Level. It's a new movie that's out. It looks like it's a really good movie. Solar Opposites. So if you guys are a fan of of Rick and Morty. Those writers, by the way, a little behind the scenes stuff. Those writers are being like picked off and put on a Marvel movie. So the Phase 4 and Phase 5 Marvel movies, if you like Rick and Morty, they're getting added into those a lot. That's why we're getting a lot of multiverse stuff. That's the reason they're getting picked off of that. Not that they're leaving Rick and Morty, but that's what they're hiring off to. Solar Opposites is made by a lot of the same guys that do Rick and Morty. It feels the same. So watch that. And that's a Hulu exclusive. These are all Hulu. Fire Force, the anime, season 2 is coming to Hulu. And then Vikings season 6, the final part of season 6 is joining Hulu. So you guys check that out. For Disney Plus, we have The Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming out on the 16th. So real soon, guys. So don't cancel that Disney Plus sub yet. And then we have Raya and the Last Dragon, which just came out. I haven't watched it yet, but I hear it's really good. I'm excited to watch that. Coming to Netflix, we have Pacific Rim The Black, which is an anime type show that's about Pacific Rim. It's set in the Pacific Rim world. And then, of course, Dota, Dragon's Blood. We talked about this. That's coming out on March 25th. And it's an anime set in the Dota world, which is one of the most popular video games in the world. We also have Paradise PD, the 3rd season coming out, which I love Paradise PD, so that's real good. HBO Max, we have Final Space season 1 and 2. They're finally hitting a streaming service people own. They were on like TBS's streaming service. Nobody owns that. And so anyway, so now they're going to be on HBO Max. And again, it's a very Rick and Morty-esque. The Superman animated series, amazing animated series hitting HBO. And then, of course, what everybody's watching is the Zack Snyder cut, which and Godzilla vs. Kong both coming out as well. The Zack Snyder cut, me and Squeaks watched the original cut already, and then we're going to watch this one. And Jonathan's doing it in the reverse order. He's going to watch the Zack Snyder cut, then the original cut afterwards, and we'll compare our notes afterwards, and we'll do a full review of that. It's going to be a 4-episode run. So that's what to watch in March, guys. Some pretty good stuff coming up. A little later in the month especially. We got some pretty good stuff coming up. All right. Here we go. It's our 200th episode, so we're going to be going over our top 5 Geek Freaks episode. This is so vain of us. Why do we talk about ourselves like this, guys? Pretty vain. Who wants to kick us off? All right, you guys are all jumping on board, so I'm going to go ahead and go first. My number 5, and I have some bonus ones and stuff like that, but my number 5 is going to be our Area 51 episode, where we talked about the raid on Area 51. Then we talked about the documentary about it and everything like that. And it was just a good chat and a little bit of kind of like just having fun. That was the episode where we had to call Squeaks real quick and get him on a mic. Yeah. And it was just a really fun episode and kind of a world I haven't really dug into before. So doing the research for that one, like we had information on when the base was built and all this stuff like that. And it was a lot of research for that one, and it felt really good getting it out there. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good content. I'm pretty proud of this. And that was back when we were recording in the studio, so I miss those days in general. But it was.
Yeah, I remember all the memes of people just doing the Naruto run into a tank and stuff like that.
What was all that?
A bunch of geeks getting blown up.
We're gonna throw the Kyles in and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Which I didn't even think about. I was actually talking to Kyle about that. Yeah. I was like, "Oh, that's right, you're actually Kyle." But
the maps of how to sneak in. All the Kyles go this way and get shot, and then we're gonna sneak around the back.
Yeah, it was
have
just
a beer
so
with the
fun.
aliens.
And then, of course, all that day I was watching the stream, and it was just mostly like a impromptu like jam sesh. People were just hanging out and playing guitars and fucking off. It was a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, that was such a good episode. That was fun. All right, Jonathan, why don't you hit us with your number 5?
My number 5 was our top 5 90s action movies. So I miss back in the day we did top 5s. We did a different format. It's been a while since we've done a top 5 in general, but I remember I re-listened to most of it, not the whole thing. I listened to parts of a lot of our videos to make my top 5 list. Mm-hmm. But I remembered how echoey, how poor quality our episodes used to be. It's like, oh my god, that's on the internet for everyone to hear. But also in that episode, I was so unprepared. I was laughing at myself because I had like very little to no notes. I mean, I remember I was making notes while the other guys were talking.
Oh, that's bad. That is bad.
But it was the format where we had a judge too. So Joe was the judge, and we had to like pitch to him why our movies were the best ones and stuff like that. But it was hilarious. Those were fun to make, and poor quality sound, but it was just a good time. So
Joe was always the judge because he was less prepared than even you.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Man.
I listened back, it's like, man, I did not explain the plot of Waterworld. I didn't explain the plot of any of those movies very well, but especially like I did no justice to Waterworld.
Yeah.
So if you guys are listening and you didn't watch it because how terrible I portrayed it, just go watch it. You'll love it.
Those little top fives, I do miss them a lot because they were a lot of fun. And then when we changed the format, tweaked it a little bit to where we're competing, we had the Princess Tiana rule and stuff like that.
Let's not talk about that right now. I will be getting into that one.
Okay, but one of the things I'm happy that we don't. The one reason I'm happy we don't do those anymore is like it would get kind of competitive to a degree of like Daniel wouldn't talk to us for a week, so, or somebody would just get like, yeah, it's kind of bullshit that I get in there, and then like, okay, I'm done, guys. I'll talk to you guys later, and like, hey, it's okay. I mean, we're just okay. It's just podcast. We would actually get a little too competitive, but yeah. And then boy, the quality back then. We were just surrounding the one mic at the time. Yeah. Oh man, we're so much
in an echoey kitchen.
Yeah, in an echoey kitchen with nothing on the walls. No, and a fridge to take out. I used to take that fridge's sound out every time. Remember how we used to have that, guys? I need you to wait a sec, and then we'll start. It was so that I can get the sound of the fridge by itself.
Ah, shit.
Yeah. All right, Squeak, hit us with your number 5, man.
Well, before I say number 5 first, I think it is pretty awesome that we've gone from sitting around a table with one mic, especially doing the fridge sound, to like now. I mean, I know from the studio to now, like being all remote right now. It's like the technology of the Geek Freaks has advanced, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, even each house now has a pretty decent studio in it. I mean, we've done quite well, and a lot of that's from the support of the fans and stuff. Yeah,
like who would have ever thought like it went from one mic, to now it's like, okay, we all have like these decent mics and cameras in our house. Like what the hell,
Yeah, I know, that's pretty nice.
But for the top 5 though, my 5th one is going to be the video game controllers, because I know at that point we were at John's house, we were just sitting on his couch, and the mic was in the middle, or we had I remember like having to scoot up to the mic each time like we would have to talk.
Yeah.
But I thought it was kind of neat to revisit like one of my favorites. I think it was, if I remember right. I don't think it was my top because I was trying to cheat and have the Switch be my top because the controller was the screen in the system as well. But like talking about the GameCube controller and thinking about all the games that I played back then on the GameCube.
What's funny about that is you actually took the top 5 controller as in like top 5 designs. So Sea of Thieves was one of your controllers. Yeah. And it was like, no, we're talking about different consoles. Yeah. I just remastered that episode, so I'm remembering it quite well.
I did, because Xbox, I remember talking about Xbox does a super sweet job on putting like these themes on their controllers. Mm-hmm. Like, man, I wish PlayStation would do that as well. But yeah, that's a beautiful ass controller that sometimes Kyrie touches, and I'm like, whoa, slow down.
You need to fix that real quick. That was our
broken Titanfall one.
That was our 4th episode, and it was the first episode that we had feedback on, so it was pretty fun. It was like, oh hey, somebody, that's awesome. Cool. We got people listening. that was our 4th episode in. That's a good one. Okay, so who's are we on now? Are we on me? Yeah, we're on me.
Yours, right?
Yours. Yep.
Speaking of Sea of Thieves, we'll go with our level up Sea of Thieves, which actually was just a couple months ago. I wanted to make sure to include one of the level ups, and they're all so much fun to record. There's an honorable mention that I'll mention later on. It's a level up as well. But this one in particular, we fell off the format pretty quick because it boiled down to me and Squeaks just sharing stories from Sea of Thieves the entire time. Yeah. And it was like, oh yeah, story, that's right. Remember that one time? And it was a bunch of that. Remember that one time? Bunch of that. So I enjoyed that one. It was one of those the episodes where I get so ranty that I have to cut myself out. I enjoy recording the most. And then editor Frank's like, oh my God, just shut up, But recorder Frank loves them, and that was a really good one to do. I like that one a lot. That was my number 4. All right, Jonathan, we're on to you.
My number 4. So for number 4, I have the Picard finale review episode. But really, recording all of the Picard review episodes were great. Mm-hmm. And I realized, maybe this is selfish of me, maybe I'm a jerk, I don't know. But in making this list, I realized, in a very humble and nice way, I don't care about the fans as much as I thought I did.
Wow.
Because right? Let me just say it like that. I sound like a jerk.
We love you, fans. By the way, remember Patreon. God, Jonathan.
Right? No, but so
edit that shit out now.
But no, so I think I was disillusioned in thinking that I'm doing this for everybody to be able to enjoy all this great content and stuff. But no, I do this because this is fun. Like,
yeah.
Especially when you look back at some of your favorite ones, recording, Picard or the top 5 action movies and stuff like that. It's fun to just gather and BS about something you like. And so, especially when Picard came out, I know me and you, Frank, were super stoked about it. A new Star Trek and, a lot of cameos and stuff like that. So every episode we were, kind of like the hype behind WandaVision is for most people, but we were super excited about it. So I remember taking, scrupulous notes with every episode and getting ready, getting it all excited to record about it and stuff. So it was a really good series. Every episode was, exciting, but how excited I was to be able to take notes and be, real detailed about it and excited to record. I remember that the most about it. So I think that's why it's my number 4.
That and the Game of Thrones one was fun because we actually had a lot of responses to the Game of Thrones version too. But it was us being able to just fully geek out. Like the purpose of those were to geek out about the episode we just watched, which is the best thing about, being a geek with a podcast. You just get to geek out. It's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, Squeaks, hit us with your number 4.
All right. I actually had 6, so I'm trying to
I have extras too, so if you guys duplicate, we can kind of move things around. Yeah.
Okay, so I think for my 4th one, it's going to go with the Santa Claus ones. We were trying to do the best Santa Claus in movies.
Wasn't the worst when we were doing top 5 worst Santa Claus or something like that?
Yeah, worst Santa Claus. Okay,
yeah.
So
it was really hard to do. I remember that much because it was like, wait a minute. So it's so shitty that it's the best. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying to argue with you guys that the Santa Claus in the Santa Claus movie with Tim Allen, the one that was just there that fell off the roof, was the worst fucking Santa Claus. Okay, because all we saw, we don't know a background or nothing. All we saw was him damn, he got distracted by just someone yelling at him. Oh, okay, you live in the fucking North Pole. I guess that's the one thing that would just distract you really quick and make you die.
Yeah.
But you guys weren't being sold on it. But yeah, no, that one was a lot of fun. That one was a lot of fun to me.
I think
we had Diana on there. I remember that.
Yeah. I didn't
Joey
have the
was
Diana
there
episodes.
too.
Diana is good.
Yeah, Diana, Joey was there. That was, I think, the only 2 that were. Well, Joey's been on a couple episodes, but guest appearance, you could say.
For the first 20, no, more than that, probably about the first 50, Joey was in a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then he was like, guys, I'm too busy with my work. And was like, what work? And then, that whole thing.
Joey, don't listen to this.
Yeah.
You're not that busy with your part-time job. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. He works full-time. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he does. He's trying to get me that Geek Freaks badge. I didn't know. Okay, guys, real quick. Our Geek Squad badge. You know the Geek Squad, like the thing he does? They actually have straight up metal badges like they're cops. Yeah, they look like Old West badges. I was like, do you get one of these? He's like, yeah, mine's coming in the mail. Can you get more of them? This is the real question. Yeah, I want
your name on
it? Their numbers are on it, like their badge number and stuff like that. I'm like, what? You guys are a pretend squad. Why is this a thing? But
that's pretty dope.
It's pretty dope. I want one now.
I mean, I'm not going to deny it if I was handed one. So.
Right, exactly. Now I'm kind of thinking we need Geek Freaks badges, so maybe that'll be something we look into.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was Squeaks.
Custom.
And Jonathan, did you go yet? How am I losing my order so fast? Whose turn is it?
Am I next? I'm lost. I don't know. I already did my number 4.
Did you do a 4?
So I think you're up, Frank.
Yeah. Okay, I am up.
Yeah,
I'm running down the order because apparently I can't remember one thing. All right, so my number 3 is going to be our WoW Classic review. That's with me, Squeaks, and Joe. And it was hype for WoW Classic. So we just sat there, described basically what it was like to level in WoW back in the day when it was hard to play and stuff like that. And so it was just a detailed review of World of Warcraft through the leveling lens and through doing dungeons and gathering with friends. And it was much like our Sea of Thieves episode, where it boiled down to a lot of us oh man, remember when we did this kind of thing. It was one of those episodes where I was just we could talk about this for another 4 or 5 hours, but we have to stop at some point. And it was a lot of fun to record. And once we stopped recording, we did just sit there and talk about it for another couple more hours. We could have just made that a bonus episode. Why not think about that? But anyways, it was a lot of fun. And I just love those episodes where it's just you guys are getting a piece of the conversation that we would be having anyways. And that was one of them. That was a really good one. Yeah. All right. Jonathan, we're back to you. You're number 3.
My number 3 was our live recording, episode 1 of our live recording at the Sacramento Gamer Expo in 2019.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun because, me and Frank, we went and set up a little booth at the Gamer Expo, and we're able to, Frank being as super prepared, brought all the equipment and had
the banner and everything.
Banner, and made that game where people could move around to pick their top 5 controllers because it was just after we did that episode.
Yeah.
set up the Switch and stuff like that for kids to play.
That was popular.
Smash Brothers, because there was a Smash Brothers tournament there, so it was like, oh yeah, these kids will get practice, and they would love to come up and take turns playing. And did you bring the jar or whatever of questions?
We had a bunch of questions. Well, you brought some questions too that we were doing.
Didn't I? Oh, okay.
That was just that was a blast. That was a lot of fun.
I just it sucks that of course there's a lot of downsides to the pandemic. But one of them is all these conventions been shut down. Like I would love to start, getting back into them. So hopefully once everything kind of stabilizes and that we find a new normal, conventions get open back up, we can start doing some more live events at conventions.
We totally will, man. I cannot wait to do it again. Just conventions in general, but we're going to be doing more booths like that because that was a lot of fun. We might not have a thing where the kids can hand controllers off to each other the entire day. That might. I remember even like back then, I was like, I bought those controllers brand new for that event. I returned them. I'm like, these are gross now. So I returned those controllers and bought new ones.
They had kids wipes.
Because we had candy there too, so the kids would be like moving their suckers around and then playing, and then like getting their hands full of the sugary stuff. I'm like, those controllers are ruined.
Good thing that was pre-pandemic.
Sir, why are you returning 3 controllers after the day you bought them? I'm like, well, they've had a rough day.
They've served their purpose.
So we had people come by, and we actually had a promptu guest speaker, which actually I'll talk about him later on. He's one of our winners for our giveaway, Tyler. And we had just people come by. Remember that one woman who wanted to start a podcast herself, and then we ended up taking pictures with her and everything like that. And
I don't remember her name. I'm such a jerk. She came by a couple times. Just wanted to BS with us and learn a little bit about how how to start her own podcast and stuff.
Oh, I could do that all day. That was that was such a good conversation. And just talking to him, we saw Corey. I hadn't seen Corey in like 7 years or something like that at that point. And then come to find out he was there also doing a live show, but he was like in the back doing it with a nice stage. I'm like, okay, I see how you got it going on. But it was just so nice to see all those people. And of course the event itself was really cool. Yeah, that was on my list too. So it was really good. That's a solid one.
You didn't really leave the booth very much, but I know at least on one of my trips to go to the bathroom, I took a quick tour around the place. And the artwork, I love. People are so creative, but to all these geeks that make their own like custom artwork on their favorite video game or comic book and stuff like that is just phenomenal. So, I mean, that's part of my favorite thing is just going around and seeing all the custom stuff that people make and mingling with everybody. But it was a lot of fun.
We're definitely doing that again. There's no doubt in my mind. That was so much fun. I wish that Squeaks and Daniel and stuff like that could have joined us, but I know it was It was an all-day event.
I worked that week, yeah.
Well, and it's one of those things too where it was like we were there from early in the morning,
set up to sundown,
till close. It was tough, but it was a lot of fun. And we had a good spot too because we were right there next to the Smash Brothers tournament, and we brought a Smash Brothers, so it was kind of a hot ticket right there. We actually kind of had our own Smash Brothers tournament going on with that one kid that was just schooling us and everybody around us. But yeah, that was really good. Okay, Squeaks, how about your number 3?
My number 3 is going to be the Disney Princesses.
There it is.
So this is a controversial one that we made up a rule, the Princess Tiana rule, to where you cannot fight for something that you wanted to get on the top 5 for more than 3 times. I mean, 2 times was a limit, and then after 2, it was shut down. No one could fight for it. So I thought that was kind of cool because it put some like organization into our new top 5.
Yeah,
like our
I loved it.
Cleaner, yeah. So it's kind of like, oh, hey, this is the second time we're fighting for, well, let's just say Princess Tiana because it's the rule. Princess Tiana. Now, if Princess Tiana is anybody else's top 5, this is your chance to fight for it.
Yeah.
To at least get it on there before instead of one of your others. So that was fun because I remember just fighting like, you guys are effing insane. Princess Tiana's not in the top 5. And it never made it in the top 5 because you guys are assholes.
Well, and that's the reason we had to put the rule in because you picked Princess Tiana in round 1 and you picked her for every round for all 5 rounds, which made you basically out because by the 5th round, we're like, look, we told you already this many times and you didn't have a defense anymore at that point. You were just like, she should be
ran
here.
Out.
You ran out of defenses. So I was like, okay, 2 times is it. But I like that rule because then it was like, okay, I need to make sure that this character or this whatever choice gets in. That we need to do that version of top 5 at some point again because it's a lot of fun to do.
And I think there was one flaw in our structure. If I remember right, we started from 5 and worked our way up to 1, right?
We always start at 1 and go our way to 5. And that's the thing that every Yeah, I've gotten so many comments from like listeners and stuff like that that says, why don't you guys end at 1? Which makes sense, right? Because then you're like, oh, your finale's 1. The thing is because it's a fight to get your character into the top 5. Like this version, we're going from 5 to 1. But with that version, we have to go the opposite direction because you want
it's not a reveal. It's a competition.
It's a competition. It's not a reveal. Exactly. So you have to like, look, if Princess Tiana is going to be on this list and I know she's not going to beat Jasmine or something like that, I'll wait till the 4th or 5th round. I know. Look at Jordy. I bought, by the way, Squeaks, you're with me. I bought the Barbie doll for Princess Tiana in honor of that rule. I have it somewhere in storage somewhere. The Barbie doll for Princess Tiana. I'll put it up. I'll put it up in the background. But yeah, it was that was a good rule. And that was actually to bring it back to it. Daniel was so pissed off that his princess wasn't there until the very end.
Because he picked some random ass princess.
It's the one from Atlantis. It was like, okay.
Oh, yeah. Which is a good movie, but very obscure, I think.
Good movie. I remember we kind of gave him the 5th one because it was like, we need to make sure that he doesn't just like leave us forever. And he was so upset. He's like, guys, I don't know how to explain this to you, but she needs to be on this list. I'm like, okay. It's all right, buddy. He was so passionate about it. And she is a great princess. So I'll give him that. But I mean, come on now. There's a lot of great Disney princesses out there. I think Diana was in that episode too, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Or maybe Sarah. Maybe Sarah was in that one.
Sarah was in the villains, and I have that on
that's right. That's right.
My list too.
Man, that was all around a really good episode. That probably should have made my top 5, actually. Now looking back at it, that was a good one. That's a good choice there, Squeaks. That was a good one.
I think we do need to do a couple more top 5 episodes pretty soon. I mean, of course, this is
right, but like that kind of top 5, where it's a dedicated top 5, and we do the competition stuff like that
with the judge, competitive.
But you know what? Let's do it this way. Let's do it to where one of you guys schedule it, and I'm up for any day because it's so hard to schedule recordings. So whenever you guys want to do it, you let me know when it'll be
Squeaks,
the case.
Have you seen all of Legend of Korra?
No, I'm kind of struggling a little bit. Even though I like I like how it's super into the future, how like bending is more of a common thing. I really like that, and how they have games of it. I really love seeing the upgrade in animation. I will get back into it. I told myself I will because I really want to. But I just finished season 3 of Clone Wars, and goddamn, man, those storylines.
Is it good?
That's some good shit, man.
I still need to watch Clone Wars. I've watched the first like 3 or 4 episodes. It just didn't hook me. But Frank said finish the first season. Once it gets past that, it gets a lot better. So
yeah. So I ignored Frank for the longest time, and then I listened to my brother-in-law who just told me to watch it for like a week.
Your brother, Sammy. We're reading. Was it Sammy? Was it brother-in-law?
No, it was Joey. Okay. It was Joey, the younger one.
Well, Joey's okay. Yeah, okay.
So he's a hardcore
Sammy
Clone
talks
Wars
shit
fan,
about
so
you all the time on our Instagram, and you're gonna sit here and listen to him. I was gonna be
like that. So. Man, but yeah, Frank. So yeah, after like the first 2 seasons, you're kind of like, okay, these are cool little stories. But that 3rd season, you're like, man, it gets really deep. And then like some of the scenes where like necks are just snapping and shit. You're like, oh my gosh, man, this is like legit. This is not a kid's show, you know? And it kind of reminded me of Avatar because Avatar had like that deeper back arc to it where, hey, this is more meaningful than just like your SpongeBob or something kind of kid show. Yeah. But man, you gotta watch Clone Wars, John. Like, it's legit. Like,
I've told you for a while, but why don't you talk to Joey real quick and he'll give you an idea of whether or not you should watch it or not. Fucking ridiculous.
Give me Joey's number. I'll see if it's worth watching.
So like, damn, just a real quick, John, it really enhances like your thoughts of like the Anakin from the prequels and stuff like that. It really does a honor to those prequels.
And really. The Mandalorian, in my opinion. It enhances the Mandalorian that we're watching now. Because it's Dave Filoni, same creator. Have you gotten to the Mandalorian stories yet, Squeaks?
No, I don't think so then. That's why I just paused for a second. I was like,
That's the best of it. That and the Darth Maul stuff is the best of Clone Wars. So, yeah.
Darth Maul just got like hinted into it. So, yeah, I just started season 4. So.
It's really good. All right, yeah. So anyways, Legend of Korra and Clone Wars would be both good top 5s that we would do in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, you watch all of Legend of Korra, I'll watch all of Clone Wars, and we'll do top 5s of both those.
Okay.
Bam.
I'm fully in.
Yeah,
so
we did do a top 5 Avatar episodes one. We should redo that once you've watched all Avatar, maybe Daniel too. We can all 4 get in
all
on
Avatar.
You finished all the Avatar.
First, yeah, I'm finished with that.
We should do that because it's a fan favorite as well. The top 5 Avatar is a fan favorite episode as well. So it would be good to do it again.
Nice. Hell yeah.
This could be we might be workshopping another spinoff, guys, because whatever, we could be talking about this again in the future.
Avatar Studios. Yep.
This is how it works, guys. This is how podcasting works. Is people come up with cool ideas and then we're just shouting over each other and we're trying to like, okay, somebody write it down. Somebody write it down right now. Listen to Joey. We got to write this down. Okay. So,
Executive producer Joey, bring him on.
Yeah, get Joey in here so he can tell the Squeaks what to do. All right, my number 2. I had to pick. Man, it's amazing to think that that's my number 1 though. I didn't really do these in order very well. Anyways, so I'll go with my number 2 is my interview with. Oh, that's because okay, sorry. My interview with Alex Schumacher. So, I wanted to pick one of the interviews and crossovers that we did, and the reason I'm picking the one with Alex is because that was the first one where after I was done, I felt like, you know what, I think I might be getting the hang of this, and I had a really great conversation with him. And of course, he came on just to talk about his work, not necessarily about any Kickstarters or anything like that. And it was like I could see this becoming a mainstay of ours, is to continue doing interviews in the future. And I really felt comfortable in that conversation, and of course the follow up, working with Alex on social media, kind of bouncing off each other and stuff like that's been really great. But yeah, that was the first one where it was like, interviewing is fun, because before that, like every interview to this day and crossovers, there's a little bit of that nervousness in there. But the first couple, I was really nervous and was like, man, and I was depending on my notes too much. But that interview with Alex, I think, was when I finally was like, okay, this is a blast to do, and I'm learning so much from somebody who creates comic books or something new. And I'm less about reading my notes and sticking to it. I'm actually about learning and then responding with what I find interesting in that conversation. And I was like, I could do these interviews every day. They're just so fascinating. So shout out to Alex Schumacher, by the way. He makes some really great comics. And that particular episode was not necessarily my favorite interview. I'm not saying that, but it was the first interview where I was like, this is it. I love doing these. These are a blast. So that's my number 2. Yeah. All right. Jonathan, what is your number 2?
My number 2 was our Joker review, the full spoiler. I think it's one of our bonus episodes.
It is, yeah.
It was once again just one of them where it was a lot of fun to record. So like I said before, it's kind of mean, but I don't do this for the fans. I guess now that I look back at it, I do it because it's a lot of fun. And in that one, I remember it was another one of those movies where I'm taking, really good notes because I watched it like 3 times before we recorded this. And I realize how bad I am, or at least probably still am, in a podcast because I kept talking over you so much and getting excited and kind of going deeper off into the story, and not pacing through and getting through it all. But it was just a really good episode, really fun episode to record because how much I loved the movie, how much we enjoyed it and dug into it a lot. So it was fun to record. I like that one.
I remember so well recording that episode that, so to kind of give people context, if you guys are just now joining us in the last few, we recorded a spoiler-free review, and then we're like, okay, we'll do a second episode. It'll come out later on this week, bonus episode, and we talked for an hour plus about Joker in that episode. So that's 2 episodes now we talked about Joker. And then like the following couple weeks later on, we start talking about him again, and it lasted for another 15-20 minutes. And every time it always comes up, and here we are again talking about how good it is. In that episode, I remember very well. There's been a lot of these episodes where I'm the guy that's trying to like rein us back into some form of an outline to keep us moving forward. That episode was me just barely tugging on the reins because you guys were, all of you were just so excited about Joker, Joe, and stuff like that. I remember when Joe was so hyped about it because Joe, liking a movie, it takes a lot for that to happen. And and we were just so excited about that movie, and just trying to keep us on track was so freaking impossible. But it was one of those things where it's like, we're all just geeking out in the room right now, and that's what it's all about anyways. Man, that was a good one. That's a good choice. That's one of them that was on my list too. That was like, in case nobody picked it up kind of thing. That's a good one. Squeaks, hit us with your number 2.
Yeah, so my number 2 is super similar to yours, Frank. It was interviewing Bitsy for her
that's the last
anime manga.
That's the last Push to Talk, guys, by the way. The last of our Push to Talks was that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my first interview ever on the podcast doing, and it was definitely a learning experience for sure. But I think it was awesome to talk to someone that's in a whole different country, at a whole different time zone, talking about what she was passionate about and her goals for what she wanted to reach with her manga. I'm not going to take full credit, but she did reach those goals on her Patreon, Kickstarter, sorry.
Yeah, she did. Great, good shout out. Yeah. That's so cool.
Not full credit, but we can above her goal. Yeah. She went definitely above her goal. So hopefully she is obviously getting her manga that she wanted written in Japanese and English was the goal to sell over there. But it was just super neat to just literally like I said, I'm gonna say once again, talk to someone that's in a whole different country and what they're passionate about. That was awesome. Yeah.
By the way, when this episode comes out, she'll have 2 more days to go. She's 4,552. Her goal was 3,500. So if you guys want to get in there and get yourself a copy, she's got all kinds of cool rewards, stuff like that. We'll just give a quick shout out for that again. And get you guys a copy of Maiden in Disguise, new game. Look at Squeaks is holding it up. He's got the original.
It's the early copy she was saying, yeah.
Yeah, so that is really cool. It's so great. Like those Kickstarter episodes, there's always a little something there that's like, well, it's a little bit of like, you're going to join us and discuss. And so the idea, the trade-off is we're going to be able to talk about what it's like to create a comic book. And then in turn, you're going to have your Kickstarter advertised, right? That's how that works. But there's also this thing where it's like, well, now we're becoming invested emotionally in your project.
Yeah.
And we hear about how it came about. So now we're like rooting for you so much. So yeah, I mean, just like you, I'm sure I was checking out our Kickstarter every few days to see how it's going and stuff. And so it's so exciting to see that every project, by the way, that we have put on our show has been reached. So we have 100% success rate so far. And we don't necessarily do it just so that to advertise somebody's Kickstarter. We also do it to share the process. And man, it's just so freaking neat. It's just so
I remember
cool.
talking to you after that. And I was just like, man, I really hope she does it. After talking to her, I really hope she meets it. And like you're right. You get the feel for it. And you're like, the feels for it. And you're like, damn, man, I really hope she actually does meet her goal.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a little nervous at first because I think when we first started talking, she was at like 14 something. And you wanted to get 3,500. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
How much time do we have? You need to drop this episode now.
Yeah, and she did great, and it's good all around. So she has so much potential, like and such ambition. There's no doubt she's gonna be back on the podcast to talk about the next thing because she's got the plans she has, guys, are out of this world. I can't wait to talk. Yeah. Anyways, we won't go into it now, but she has a lot coming up.
It's a Marvel universe.
She's got a Marvel universe setting up, so that'll be really good. Okay, let's get into our number ones. This one, actually, my number one was the Sacramento Expo, so that's being replaced with this one here. The BlizzCon from 2019. So this is the one this is Squeaks' first BlizzCon that he went to.
I forgot about those episodes. Damn.
To explain what this is like. So when we go down to a BlizzCon or any of these conventions, there's multiple levels, right? So recording a podcast already takes a lot of research, a lot of notes, it's a week-long worth of research per episode that we do, including this one even had a lot of it. And then you have to record it and edit and like that. Now, this particular thing, when you add a convention to it, you have the hassle of going to a convention and learning at the convention and all the travel, stuff like that. So it's just impounded. And then when it's BlizzCon of all things, it's like, and there's hype. And there's so much hype on top of that all. So there's all these things going on. So at the end of every day, when it's like, okay, let's stop our hype, but right before we go out partying all night, let's record an episode of the podcast. Then we go out partying all night, and then I'm trying to edit after a party, which usually means that I'm not 100% focused after a party, you know what I'm saying? And so the 2019, the day 2 episode of BlizzCon, the reason that one especially just is so badass is because I was editing that one on a laptop while you were driving on our way home. So I was actually editing that one on the road in the middle of LA traffic and stuff like that. And it was just so hectic. But man, that BlizzCon, we were just so abuzz from the excitement and the hype. That's when Shadowlands was announced, and we had first row seats and
Overwatch 2.
Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4.
Diablo 4, yeah. Man, that BlizzCon was great.
It was so great. God. And it's Squeaks' first BlizzCon. When it's somebody's first BlizzCon, there's an extra level of hype because you're kind of feeding off of that too. And it's one of those things where it's like, this is what podcasting is all about. And that's why in November, if that thing's still on, I'm headed down to Comic-Con. And I think I could get us media passes to that. That's a thing we'll talk about off camera. But it's just, man, that was so much fun. And then you finally get home and you sleep for a good solid 4 days from tiredness. But what a blast. What a freaking blast that was. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Jonathan. What is your number one favorite episode?
All right, my number one favorite episode. It's our top 5 Avatar episodes.
Yeah.
Again, it's just, I remember it was so much fun to record, and we elaborated. I actually re-listened to this one completely. We elaborated so much on every episode that we went through, and pretty much explained all of what went on. But it's just such a good series. I wish I was on the last episode. I was just busy, newborn baby and stuff. But so excited about the new Avatar studios in development stuff because I just can't wait for more content in this world. The whole Avatar series and Legend of Korra and everything is just, it's so well written, so well made. It's great for such a wide audience, but there's some of these episodes are just so impactful and so heart-wrenching, and it's just a really great series. And so our review of it was pretty good because it was just so passionate. It's something that we care about so much and enjoyed so much. And I think that's what really carries an episode, is if it's about something you actually care about. If you're talking about something that you have a guest on and you don't really care for their stuff, but it's popular and you want to share it with people and stuff, that's harder. But if you're talking about something you love, I mean, it's easy to just rant about things that you love. So
of course,
I think it was a lot of fun to record.
About 20 minutes of that episode got cut out because of how much extra geeking out we did. Mm-hmm. So there was about 20 minutes where I was like, okay, that's enough of whatever episode we were talking about. Or I remember at the end, I think at that one, I know the Star Trek Voyager one, the same thing happened, where we just started the push to talk where we were all talking about Star Trek. The same thing happened where I was like, okay, you're just talking about random episodes now. You're not actually in the top 5 thing anymore. You're just like walking off with it. So I had to cut off a few of those.
I tend to ramble a lot, so feel free to cut out as much as you need to.
I do all the time. That might be a thing too. Now that we're firing up Patreon and we're dedicated to it in a new level, that might be a thing where like maybe the uncut episodes go to Patreon and they could hear the rants, I guess, if they want to. Some reward, guys.
Or give them a skip button to skip through my rants. That probably help.
Auto skip. Enough Frank. It'll be just a button that says enough Frank.
Like skipping commercials.
Yeah. Okay. That's not a bad idea, actually. I'm thinking about it. Squeaks, what do you got, man? What is your
all right? So like what John brought up was passionate when you're talking about things. In my one episode, because I was I was introduced to this world and I kind of fell in love with it, was actually another push to talk with you guys. It was Star Trek. So basically you kind of just opened the doors of Voyager for me and let me have a little sneak peek in it, and I was like, holy shit, man. John Luke? No. What's her name? Jane. I know I'm saying Sean. No, what's
Janeway?
Janeway. Yeah.
Oh my God, you're messing this up so bad.
I still haven't even checked out all of Voyager, so give me a break now. Come on now. But it's like, man, she's badass. But basically, it was like right when I was getting back into really Star Trek, and I'm obviously, like I said in the Pusher talk, I was a newer fan talking to veterans here, and Star Trek is just fucking amazing. And I wish there was more of it. Obviously, we are getting more of it. But I need to see that thing on the big screen. I don't know if you guys saw, but did you see that there might be actually a movie now being produced?
It's a documentary.
I did not.
It's a documentary. Yeah.
No, it's fucking not, Frank. God.
No, I bid because you could donate to basically the Kickstarter for it to help them fund it, and they almost hit $1 million now. Yeah, I donated to it, so yeah.
I want a movie.
It's a documentary. Yeah.
Do you have any information on it, Frank? Is it of all the Star Trek series or Gene Roddenberry's life, or
it is only about Star Trek Voyager?
It's
a documentary just about Star Trek Voyager, and it'll have the entire cast coming back to do interviews and stuff like that. They all went out to retweet it and support it. And of course, I follow all of Voyager guys, but Robert Duncan, right?
Yeah, McNeil.
Thank you. He is
Tom Paris.
He's but he's very active on Twitter. I enjoy all his tweets. So he's the one that really shined a light on that. They have a podcast, by the way, I still haven't listened to. That's where they discuss each episode that they're in.
Tom Paris and Harry Kim.
Yeah,
the Delta Flyer, right?
Yeah, on some point after I'm done binging all the podcasts I currently binge, I need more.
And then you just work on that crossover so we can be interviewed by them or interview them on an episode that would be noteworthy. I don't think I could stay calm for an episode.
We would have to record for like 4 hours beforehand before they even join the channel.
Hey, so this is the news. Sorry to interrupt, but this is the news I got. So a Star Trek movie is coming from J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot and Discovery writer.
What's your source on that? No, that's something whole different. What is that?
That's what I'm telling you right now. So,
what's the source?
Where'd you hear that from?
Is it
numerous rumors and false starts, including one of the oddball. Oh, like Quentin Tarantino was in talks of it.
Yeah, that was a mess.
And Noah Haley. It looks like a new Star Trek film is finally vaulting past stratosphere. They tried to be funny,
cute,
and perhaps to Paramount Plus.
Okay.
That's what we got so far.
They say it's Voyager
with J.J. Abrams and a Discovery writer, Kalinda Vasquez.
Yeah,
that's what we got so far. will be writing the screenplay for the new Star Trek film for Paramount Pictures.
Yeah. But nothing about Voyager in it, right?
Nothing about Voyager, just a new thing.
That's amazing. That is fantastic good news. So we're going to call that breaking news.
Did the last 2 Star Trek movies, right?
3. He did the 3.
Yeah, and I love those movies.
They're really good. I enjoy them.
They're so good.
Yeah. I get they don't fit the vibe of the original Star Trek, so that, a lot of people complain about that. They're too flashy and modernized, but I think that's kind of the way you have to go, right?
Did you watch Star Trek Beyond, John? The one that, I think it's called Beyond, the third of JJ's movies?
Yeah, I think I've seen them all.
Okay. That's a really good one that flew under the radar. A lot of people didn't even see. And it's actually, I think, Squeaks' very first movie in a Star Trek. It was super good. So,
I think just listening to you guys really get talk about Star Trek and then me being brand new to it and really digging it. That was kind of one of my favorite things because it got me to learn something new and get into a new series.
I had a comment on that. Kevin, who's he's a patron and everything like that. He was saying that he was listening to that episode the entire time. You kept calling Neelix a cat person. He was getting pissed off and what he was yelling at his phone.
One of the best characters of all Star Trek.
I know.
Call him a cat person.
Oh man. And Kevin, who's not necessarily a Voyager fan or anything like that. He's just general. He was just that soft rage type of thing that we all have, that nerd rage. Like when somebody says Star Trek or Star Wars the wrong way, and it's oh, good. I love it.
That's funny. Yeah.
All right. And that was our last one. Really great episodes. Of course, we love doing this podcast and everything like that. And I personally, not Jonathan apparently, but I do it for the fans. Okay, but we had a giveaway so that you guys could enter your favorites. So let's go ahead and go over those real quick. By the way, so we didn't really, on the last episode we mentioned it once, we didn't really hype up the idea that we're doing this giveaway. So we had a ton of likes and retweets, and we appreciate those, of course. We needed responses. That was what we were missing. So these are our winners. We have Sunny. She does the Book of Lies podcast, by the way, guys. Check them out. It's a fantastic podcast and excellent sisters. But Sunny mentioned, this is her message here. Frank had the sexiest voice, and I need a Geek Freaks coffee mug. The reason she's saying that is because in the episode where we're hyping this up is that you could say something like that. And I literally gave that example. So she's definitely winning the coffee mug. No, but her favorite episode was top 5 Avatar episodes. Which that was a good one. Nice. A lot of hype there. So Sunny's getting a coffee mug. We have Kyle here, who he actually came on for a crossover episode. He's a streamer and stuff like that. And so he says, "Congrats on 200. Personal favorite of mine is the crossover episode where Kevin and I shared our top 5 developers with Frank. That was a lot of fun to record, and that was a lot of fun. Kyle, of course, guys, if you guys want to check him out, Monument is Kyle. He's on a break right now from streaming, but I'm sure he'll be back at it. And in that episode, I think my favorite developer either was Blizzard, but I think I think it was Rare, because I really like everything that Rare does, and of course how they give us so much free stuff in Sea of Thieves and stuff like that. It's just a really cool move. And then we also had another comment was Frank with super chilled vibes. That was from Swifts. So the winners so far is Sunny, Kyle, and then we have Tyler was also a winner. Let me pull up your message here, Tyler. Tyler says, and of course these were randomized, but by chance these are people we've talked to in the past. Tyler was the one that actually came by our booth, Jonathan, to talk about Smash Brothers. He says, getting bro talk with you guys at SAC, a retro gaming con about esports and the top 5 esports podcasts I did with y'all. It was a blast and can't wait to do that again. And I think at some point we'll have to have him on Push to Talk to chat with Squeaks. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And then a little side one that he didn't win, but I think it's important we mention. This guy named Sam, also known as Sammy, I believe. He says, every episode that Squeaks isn't on has got to be my favorite. Good point, Sammy. I think that's a pretty good.
You should just send him a sticker.
Wanted like the emoji poop sticker or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna send. You know what? Like, I'm gonna buy a couple shirts with my face on it, and then just send one. Send one to him.
That is a great idea. I'll get a mug for it. I'll put that on a mug. You can send him the mug. So he has something to throw on the ground.
A little icon in the corner of your face.
Yeah. We appreciate that, guys. I'll message you all about your winnings and get your address so I could send it the coffee mug. I'm getting one for myself too. That mug looks really good. It's a new one. Okay. Last thing, we're going to be talking about the details to our Patreon. So we're back to Patreon. We have a whole new level of dedication to it, and we have 4 tiers for you guys. One of the big things is we have a new show that's going to be exclusive to that called Sloop, and it's going to be a movie/TV show review podcast. I've been working hard on the structure for this thing, and generally the way it'll work is I'll do a mix of movies I've seen and movies I haven't seen, and of course you guys are welcome to join on any of these if you want to. But the idea is the movies that I've seen, we're going to be breaking down a lot more of the act structure and the development and stuff like that of that movie. Movies I haven't seen before is going to be a lot more about the emotional impact and how I felt watching this, and then I'll go down to a little bit of the behind the scenes. And when you guys become a patron in any tier, you get to add a movie to the watch list. So the Sloops will be coming out probably bi-monthly. We have one that'll come out on the same day that this episode is coming out too. That's going to be about Batman and the Mask of the Phantasm, which I've never seen before, surprisingly, as much as I love the animated series. Did you guys have a chance to watch that movie before?
I actually never heard of it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's supposedly like one of the best Batman movies ever.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this on HBO?
It should be on HBO. Oh, it is on HBO.
Okay.
Yeah, it is on HBO. That's what I'm watching it on that tonight.
Okay, I'll check that.
To do the episode for. So anyway, I'll break down, for the example on this one, I'll break down the act structure and stuff like that, and kind of explain some of the. I watched a documentary about Batman in the animated series, so I'll try to talk about like the music and why they chose this music, and the animation, why that animation was chosen that way, and then some of the developers on it, things like that. I'll over explain the movie for you guys. That's always something you want to hear, right? But anyway, so that'll be the first one, and that was actually chosen by one of our patrons. So I don't remember. It was Kyle actually. Okay, so for the $1, you become a contributor. You're going to be getting a sticker. You'll get early access to episodes. They'll come out as soon as I'm done editing. They go to the hopper, which means that on a Tuesday release, you guys will get them earlier than that. You'll get behind the scenes where I'll like put up our notes and stuff like that, what we're talking about. You're going to get your name read at the end during the credits because you become an executive producer of the podcast. You get the Discord access for just patrons, which you have your own channel for chat and typing for text. In the text one too, we're gonna do a lot of things where it's like, hey guys, we're about to do top 5, either we'll say esports or Disney princesses. Which one should we do? And we're gonna leave it to the patrons to choose which one we go with. So there'll be like a lot of those, like this one or that one, So that'd be pretty cool. You guys, by the way, are in those, so you guys can go ahead and give your input, of course.
Yeah.
And then you have access to Sloop, and you'll be able to add a list to that as well. For the $5 level, that's a sponsor level. You get all the perks from the previous one, so I don't have to read those, but you're also entered into our giveaways. So every 2 months, we're going to do a random giveaway for one of our merch, one of our swag items. And you need nothing to do. You don't have to do anything but be a sponsor for that. And we'll just give it away to a random person that's a patron. Might be a mug, might be some additional stickers, might be a shirt, something like that. You'll also have a Sloop editorial. So when we do the episode or when we do the Sloop about your movie, you'll write up like a paragraph thing or whatever, and then I'll read your opinion on the air too, so that we get your opinion on it. At the $10 level, you're a benefactor, and at this point, you get a Geek Freaks mug that's going to be your way. And all these mugs and the shirt that for the later tier, they're going to be exclusively for patron, and they'll actually say executive producer on the mug itself and the shirt as well. You also have the stream choice, so you get to pick a game for me to try to stream and beat. And if I can beat it, it'll become a level up. That is no guarantee because I'm good at games, but like not that good at games. So we'll see what level that becomes. But that's
just saying that just in case you get picked by like a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne type game.
In the description of this tier, it says, "I'd like to promise I'll beat it, but I'm worried about those Bloodborne picks."
Yeah.
All right. And at the final tier is the $20 tier, the Guardian tier. That's $20 per month. You get all those perks before the stream pick and everything like that. Plus, you get a shirt I'll say you're an executive producer of Geek Freaks. You get to pick a top 5 for us to do. You'll have 3 Twitter polls you can throw up for us. and that will later on be featured on Push to Talk. So you know how we do those like questions that we do on Push to Talk.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get to pick some of those. So and then those digital rewards renew quarterly. So every 3 months that you're at that tier, you get to do a top 5 or whatever and stuff like that. So it'll be all kinds of cool stuff. Anyways, guys, we promise to have a lot of fun with Patreon. I'm excited to give it a new level of effort and perks and all that fun stuff. Before it was just like we weren't really sure what the podcast was looking like, let alone to handle the Patreon. And now that we're kind of humming, it'll be good to play with that and have some fun with there. So join us on Patreon, link in the description, of course. And yeah, it'll be really great. And you guys will get all kinds of cool stuff and help decide what happens with the podcast, which is always cool. Yeah. Any comments on the Patreon, guys?
Sounds good to me. I'm excited.
Join.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that.
I like to have people more involved in helping steer the ship. Give us your input on how you want us to proceed or what you'd like to hear more of.
I'm so excited for that part. Yeah.
I'm gonna say, of course, super appreciative too for anyone that does.
The $1 a month. I mean that just that little bit, because the server cost, like that's our goal basically, is to cover the server costs and the program costs, the text editing and stuff like that, and then slowly upgrade all of our gear and our equipment. But yeah, we appreciate any little bit. So that's really good. That's basically it for us this week, guys. We will message you that won the giveaway. I'll message you guys on the Tuesday that this episode comes out. So keep an eye out for your inboxes on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll get to you guys. But that's about it. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.